Well, we're back at 11 Stanwix Street in downtown Pittsburgh, once the corporate headquarters of the old Westinghouse Electric Corporation, back in the days when women were few in the corporate boardroom. Well, it is something that has begun to change in our region. Women make up about 31% of the board at Milan, 30% at U.S. Steel, 28.5% at PNC, and 27% at Allegheny Technologies. Yet even if companies are more willing to open their boardrooms, women may still need to develop a personal roadmap to find their way there. We're back with Carrie, Coghill, and Christy Uffelman, who co-chaired the recent conversation on board diversity here in our region, along with Richard Harshman, the chairman, president, CEO of ATI. Welcome back. And we'll pick up where we left off on this other side of the equation. You got to be ready when the call comes. I want Rich, from your perspective, what makes a great board member? What are you looking for, whether it's a man or a woman or whatever?
Yeah, it's about experience. It's about, is it a good fit for the individual and for the company? Because every company has a different set of culture and of values, and obviously are engaged in different industries. But I think you want someone who has lived through business cycles. Doesn't necessarily, and you don't want somebody that has been only in your industry, because you have people that are very knowledgeable about your industries. That's management's role, right? So from a board standpoint, you want people that have a broad-based experience, different experience levels from a standpoint of diverse industries. Not all bankers, not all lawyers, not all CEOs, right? So you're looking for people who have lived through the battles, been successful, advanced throughout their careers, and generally speaking, you have C-suite executives, people who have run large divisions in a much larger company. General counsels, CFOs, things like that.
Yeah, so I wonder, Christy and Carrie, it sounds like great board members are made, not born, to some degree. Is that part of it? Do you have to make yourself to be in a position to do this?
Oh, absolutely. And what I would say to couple with that is it doesn't begin when you're an executive. It begins far, far earlier in your career. When we look at the roadmap of to be board ready, it begins in mid-career, and you hone and craft those skills so that when you get to become an executive, you have the exposure, the network, the excellence in order to do so.
Yeah, it really is finding the talent, and we're focusing on helping women here locally continue that journey. And I've been involved at Robert Morris with Rich, and we've launched a women's leadership and mentorship program, and we want to start this conversation while these young women are in school, so that we're producing women leaders that as they get into the workforce, they're on that path, they know what they need to do in order to continue to excel through their careers into the C-suite. Which then gets them into the boardroom.
Sure. I wonder, Christy, though, isn't leadership leadership? Is it different for women and when you're talking about developing yourself than it is for the guys?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. So what I would say specific to this topic as it relates to leadership is that we're looking for three distinct areas. We're looking for excellence, we're looking for exposure, and we're looking for experience. So excellence is your business acumen, your financial acumen. It's your technical skills. Then you have experience. So if excellence is what you do, experience is how you do it. That's where the leadership really comes into play. It's your emotional intelligence. It's lateral moves inside your organization so that you get operational experience in addition to being siloed in HR or being siloed in IT. It has to do with stretch assignments and putting yourself out there. And then that third piece, which is just as important as the first two, is exposure. So if excellence is what you do and experience is how you do it, exposure is who sees you do it. Right? And we need to be really strategic as women and as men, building our internal networks inside our organizations and inside our industries, as well as externally in our region, in the nation, and the globe.
Yeah, Rich, Christy mentioned this idea of the silos. Can that become a barrier to doing this effectively, both for the individual as well as the organization? Yeah,
because what you're really looking for is someone that can think across their own technical background and areas of expertise. If someone is just thinking like an engineer, or just thinking like a marketing person, or just thinking like a financial person, as opposed to thinking like a business person, thinking strategically, how do you respond to the challenges and the demands of the markets today? and the investor expectations that exist today. Much more challenging today, quite frankly, than at any point in time in my 37-year career. So you need people that have areas of expertise that are broad-minded and broad thinkers and can think strategically, but also assist the CEO and the management team with tactical execution.
So where do you go from here? This was your shot across the bow, get people in Pittsburgh talking about it. What happens next?
Well, I mean, it was a great event, and there was a lot of appetite for more. Particularly the women in the room really want to learn more. To your question about, is it different between men and women? It is different, and we see that. We see men and women coming out of college basically at the same point. Women tend to fall behind, not only in their career advancement, but also in their compensation. And a lot of that has to do with the choices that they're making, life choices and so forth. So for the corporations, it's about how do you continue to move women along, enable them to be able to make the choices that they need to make to further advance, while at the same time maintaining some sort of balance in their life. So that's important. So looking at that and also working with corporate leaders here in the city is something that we want to continue to do. So it's really two different kind of paths. It's working with corporations, making sure that we can facilitate that conversation as to what they need, and also helping the women in our region become board ready.
All right, well, it's a great effort. Great to see the leadership in our region around leadership and women on boards. Carrie, Coghill, Christy, Uffelman, Richard Harshman from ATI. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
And we'll be back in a minute with a little more dollars and cents. Stay with us.